This idea that God requires the sacrifice of the innocent to absolve the guilty presents a direct contradiction to the concept of a loving and just deity. Justice, by any reasonable standard, involves holding the guilty accountable for their actions. Punishing the innocent in place of the guilty undermines the very essence of justice. Yet, in the biblical narrative, whether through the sacrificial animals of the Old Testament or the crucifixion of Jesus in the New Testament, we see the innocent suffering on behalf of the guilty. This dynamic suggests that divine justice, as portrayed, is satisfied not by correcting the wrongdoer but by transferring their punishment onto someone or something that is blameless. Such a system, if applied in human terms, would be universally condemned as unjust. This contradiction extends to the idea of divine love. Love, particularly in its highest form, is inherently protective and seeks the well-being of the beloved. A truly loving being would not demand or derive satisfaction from the suffering or death of an innocent being. The notion that God is appeased or pleased by such sacrifices, including the death of his own Son, stands in stark opposition to the concept of God as infinitely loving. If love is about the care and protection of others, especially the innocent and vulnerable, then a system that requires their suffering and death for the sake of redemption is fundamentally at odds with this understanding. Moreover, the moral character of God as depicted in these narratives raises serious concerns. If we apply the moral standards used to judge human behavior, the requirement of innocent bloodshed as a means of justice and reconciliation appears morally indefensible. A deity who demands such sacrifices could be seen as embodying traits more aligned with vengeance or cruelty than with love or justice. This portrayal raises troubling questions about the consistency and moral integrity of the character attributed to God. Additionally, this system of sacrifice fails to hold the guilty truly accountable. By allowing the wrongdoer to be absolved through the suffering of the innocent, true accountability is bypassed. The wrongdoer escapes the direct consequences of their actions, which not only undermines the idea of justice but also raises questions about the moral development and rehabilitation of the individual. If forgiveness is achieved without the wrongdoer facing their own consequences, then the system is fundamentally flawed both morally and justly. In conclusion, a loving and just deity, as traditionally conceived, would not find satisfaction in the suffering of the innocent nor require such a sacrifice to offer forgiveness. This portrayal challenges the coherence of God's character as both infinitely loving and perfectly just.